often when people ask me to sign, Valley of the Mammoths or Castle or some other game like this. It's always something I like.
Cool. Speaking of Castle, this isn't one of the 5 questions, but I did see something on your website that there was talks to republish that, and that's not going to happen now, and you're going to try to revisit that. Was that accurate?
Yeah, I think it's not going to happen. It's complex story. I think we really didn't have with the publishers the same way of working on a game, and
sure.
It was really too difficult to discuss, and I think I'd rather even not discuss it anymore.
Okay. Well, hopefully.
I hope the publisher will make it. I hope it will come out because there has been lots of work on it and money invested and graphics have been made and everything. Right. But if it's not done, never mind.
Well, it's a classic, so I hope it sees print again just so that people can get their hands on it because it is a classic. Okay, so back to the questions. Question number 4: is there one game that you wish you had designed?
Well, number 1, of course, is Cosmic Encounter.
Okay.
But maybe Magic the Gathering, or maybe The Pit. But no, I think Cosmic Encounter. I think it's the game that brought me into game design.
Really?
Yes.
That's what brought you in. What about it brought you into game design?
I think because I started to want to, design my own aliens for Cosmic Encounter because, we started with just a basic box when it was just out, and I think 2 or 3 people in France had it. And so we designed new stuff and new rules and added, and then, okay, let's make a game. I think I discovered Cosmic Encounter with Pierre Créquin, with whom I made Nightmare Chess and Warrior Knights and Baston. And really, I think what brought me into game design was that I found out with Cosmic Encounter that it was possible, to tinker with everything and add something. And when you start adding stuff, you can as well make your own stuff.
Wow. Okay. Richard Garfield, who designed Magic the Gathering, cites
the same.
Yeah, he cites Cosmic Encounter as one of his influences for Magic, which is awesome. Okay. Are you a Magic player?
I was.
Okay. So not anymore.
Magic a lot. I've worked in the translation team for the Magic cards for a few years, almost 10 years.
Oh.
So I've been really into this, but now I stopped. I don't play any collectible card games anymore.
Okay.
I like to look at people playing Magic from time to time.
It's still a wonderful game. I still play it a little bit.
I think it's still the most zany and wide of collectible card games. Most other are, too straightforward with clear rule, clear objectives.
Right.
In Magic, you have everything.
It's really amazing, isn't it? The variety of cards and the interactions that are created between the variety of I've heard it said that good games are not designed, they're developed. To that end, Magic is maybe the best game ever because the amount of development that goes into balancing those cards together is just the R&D team on that. They deserve all the credit in the world. It's phenomenal. So last question for you. What is your favorite die from any game? Whatever die you like, anyone, anywhere.
Whoa. I have it here, I think. Where it is? I don't know. I have somewhere. I have a die with the 10 Commandments. Okay, today I will go to this one and get rid of 9 other ones. I think
Oh man, I'm gonna stay away from you on some of those days. I'll tell you what. That's awesome. So Bruno, how do people get in touch with you if they want to? Do you do social media? Do you Facebook or Twitter or any of that?
I'm not on Twitter. I should, but I'm on Facebook a lot.
Okay.
Maybe too much. And I have my website, which is Faidutti.com.
So FAIDUTTI.com.
Yes.
And you post on English and French in there, so folks will have no problem reading any of it. So I can't thank you enough for taking time to talk with me this morning. Well, it's my morning. It's almost dinner time for you, I think. What are you having for dinner tonight?
I don't know. I've not decided yet. I'm around tonight, so I don't know. Maybe I go to the Japanese restaurant. I don't know. I will see.
Thank you, Bruno. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Horsey Avenger, do you like Zeppelins?
Yes.
Do you like Led Zeppelins or regular Zeppelins? Do you have bad memories of the Hindenburg?
Well, there were times in my family history we don't want to go there.
Let's whatever floats your balloon. Get it? So let's talk about Aether Captains.
Okay.
According to the description, it's an asymmetric steampunk board game between swashbuckling sky pirates and mighty naval zeppelins in the skies of Arcady.
Sounds actually pretty fun.
It sounds very fun.
Yeah.
8 days to go on the Kickstarter.
All right.
So that'll be wrapping up the day after my birthday.
Okay.
And this game comes from Mage Company.
Okay.
Being distributed by Ninja Division in the United States. Ninja Division, exactly.
Yeah.
Do ninjas actually make that sound? I thought
They
ninjas
should.
make no sound.
Well.
At any rate, this is a 1 to 5 player game. This bad boy's got solitaire rules.
Okay.
So super cool.
Mm-hmm.
The base game is already funded. They have a couple expansions that you can purchase through the Kickstarter.
Okay.
30 to 60 minutes, they say. Comes with a bunch of plastic. You get some different Zeppelins. Each person gets their own Zeppelins. They got
That's
a bunch
cool.
of custom dice. Some nice looking artwork on the board tiles here. So there's a couple expansions available.
Okay.
They've unlocked a bunch of stretch goals already. There's add-ons you can buy. All kinds of stuff. We've got new canon crew members and equivalent crew cards. They've got stat boards. There's a couple additional cities that you can explore because the game has an exploration element to it. There's a new ship that's been unlocked, and they're coming up. They get to the next couple. They'll have some new crew members, another new ship, and maybe even some extra scenarios. So there's some scenarios for the game, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The changing board will mean that none of your games are ever the same. So if you follow us on Twitter, and if you don't, now's a good time, at Cardboard Insane and at Horsey_Avenger. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to be giving away a copy of Aether Captains through our website, blog.cardboardinsanity.com. So follow us on Twitter, check the website, and you'll be able to get the details there. That's coming up real soon. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Cardboard Insanity's Game of the Week. I want to take a minute and talk to everybody here about a really serious topic.
Okay. Why do we have serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is something everyone needs to know about
Okay.
because it's a real threat to everyone's safety and health.
Oh, wow.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs are serious business, kids.
They're real.
If you see one, you've got much bigger problems than I can even tell you about. But if there's one dinosaur you should be looking for, it is Raptor.
Yeah.
From Matagot and designed by Bruno Cathala and Faidutti.
Nice.
Put that whichever direction you want. Whoever goes first. I'm not sure what says in the box.
However you feel.
That's right. Raptor is one of the class of games that is a two-player only design. So we play a lot of games. We're always looking for stuff that, and you'll see this in every Board Game Geek thread. How's it play with two?
Right.
That's the, always, because so many of these games are designed for 2 to 5, and the question is, what number is the right number to play them with? How's it play at 2? You'll see that in every multiplayer game. There's always at least one thread, and then there's usually a couple threads where someone's like, go read the other thread, you jerk. So I don't ever post them because I don't want to be the jerk that didn't read threads. So I search first. But this is part of the series of games where it's a 2-player only game, which is something that as people that play predominantly 2-player, we do not shy away from.
No, we actually look for that.
We do, because a 2-player only game means something special compared to a game that scales. A game that's just designed for 2 is designed to only work at that player number. So the mechanisms that go into driving the game really only need to consider 2 players.
Right.
You don't ever need to consider, how will this work with more? it's
it doesn't
sort of
matter.
Right. It's sort of a distillation of some ideas that you have, and you can do things in a 2-player game that you can't do in a multiplayer game. Also, the same thing happens. You can do things in a multiplayer game you can't do in a 2-player game.
True.
But there's things that appeal to me as a reformed Magic player and CCG junkie in general, that 2-player games really excite me. And with Netrunner being one of my favorite games ever, asymmetrical 2-player games are even more exciting.
Yes.
And Raptor is a perfect example of an asymmetrical 2-player game. One side is the scientists, the other side is the Raptors. And both sides have completely different win conditions.
Yes.
The Raptors win if 2 or 3 of the baby Raptors escape the board, or if the mother manages to eat all the scientists on the board.
She's very hungry. She just
hungry.
might do that.
She is. That mama raptor needs some Weight Watchers, but then again, so do I. The scientists win if they manage to capture 3 baby raptors,
Right.
or if they actually manage to kill the mother. So, this game's not for the faint of heart.
It really isn't.
But it's a beautiful production. The contents of the game, you have 6 game boards that go together to make the playing area. These are a roughly 4-inch by 4-inch square. They can be oriented any number of ways. You're going to build those into a 2 by 3 playing area. And then there are 2 end boards for each side. These are L-shaped end boards that have an exit on each one of them. So each end of the board has 2 exits. One end of them has the exits right next to each other, and the other end has them on opposite sides of the board.
Right. So there's some variety.
Right. So that plays into some of the tactics. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the player boards, or I'm sorry, the game boards each have spots on them where mountain pieces go. So there's some little 3D mountains, I guess they're little rock formations that go on the board, and they sort of obstruct line of sight and movement paths, which is very critical to how the game plays. The nice thing is that you can lay these boards out in any sort of, you can rotate them, you can put them in different spots as long as they're always in the 2 by 3. And if that didn't give you enough variety, they're actually double-sided. So right now we're looking at the desert side, and the desert side actually has 2 tiles that are wide open that don't have any rock formations on them. The other side, the jungle, tends to be a little more spread out.
Yes.
But they play very, very differently. And I suppose there's really nothing to stop you from doing half and half or whatever you wanted to do.
You totally could have one side a jungle and the other side just the desert side.
So the board will create a huge number of different playing opportunities from game to game, which is really nice. In addition to the board, each person gets a deck of 9 cards, numbered 1 through 9. The raptor gets a mama raptor and 5 baby raptors.
Right.
And the mama gets put out on one of the 2 central tiles, and then 1 baby on each of the other 5 tiles. The scientists start with 1 scientist on each of the escape tiles. So you start with 4, and you have 6 scientists in reserve. And there's cards that'll let you possibly bring in more scientists.
Right.
Gameplay in this is very, very simple. Both players will simultaneously put a card face down and then flip them up once they're ready. Whoever's card has the lower number on it gets to take the corresponding action of that card. Then the other player gets action points equal to the difference in the card values. So if I play the 2 and the Horsey Avenger plays the 6, I get to trigger my action, but then she gets 4 action points. That's a huge decision factor in the game.
Yes.
So if your deck runs out, you reshuffle. You keep going till someone makes the victory condition. The box says the game takes about 20 minutes. Truthfully, this game can take anywhere from 10 to 40. We've had some long, drawn-out games. That's the minority of the time. The majority of the time, you will be in that 20, 25-minute window.
I think our last game was close to half an hour.
It was. Early on, the first couple games we played of this, we're like, there's no way this is a 20-minute game. And then we figured out how to play.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, actually, sometimes it's not a 20, sometimes it's a 10-minute game, depending on how the flow of the game goes.
Right.
Let's talk about the basics of the, I don't know, it's almost a simultaneous blind bid system. But what's cool about this is that each person has 9 cards. You have 3 in your hand at any given time. Once cards are played, they're left on the table in front of you so you can see what the other person has played.
And you really want to pay attention to that too.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And I would say sometimes I think that's the whole game. And then sometimes I think board position's the whole game. Which leads me to believe that it's equal parts of both. How's that for an astute
Yeah,
observation?
I think you need to take everything into consideration. But definitely, if you don't pay attention to what your opponent's doing, you're not playing it right.
Right, and that's really key. And I would say that as this game is asymmetrical and both sides are so different, you will not see the real beauty